We can learn a lot from nature, from the trees, from the water, from the wind. And for me, the cards represent this urban element that I find on the street, but they provide me knowledge. I've learned so much because of them, and I feel that they also carry magical forces that guide me through my life, or through the streets, or through my daily life. So I feel, even though it's something made by humans, the moment that they lay down on the street, they become something else. They become almost like a archaeological tool for me. It's like the material I use to investigate other topics. My name is Anne Nascimento, and I'm a Brazilian artist, currently studying sculpture and fine arts at Kunsthalle, Berlim. So it's been 5 years I've been collecting playing cards I found on the street, and I have a collection of more than 6,000 cards. Because of this collection, I started making a lot of research and start doing sculptures and installations with these cards. And in this exhibition, I finally could summarize all my skills related to this practice. The first work, it's a personal cartography, and it's many facts of playing cards, like the history of playing cards, but also my own history, like where and when I start finding them and why I got so interested on them. So it's basically this like historical but personal relation I have with cards. The forest was built very organically, and I decided to develop this concept of a forest of cards because I explore a lot the memory of the cards, like in which conditions they are, if they're ripped apart, or if they're like dirty, or if they're stepped on. Like every time I found these cards, I start questioning what are the memories they carry, why they are on the street, who threw them away, who decided to like tear a card apart and throw it away. So all these questions of how they end up in the street was very interesting for me. So I started developing words where I research memory through the playing cards. And then I start realizing that our memories is basically a forest, it's an ecosystem. In some part of this forest, they are more like empty spaces, or they're more like dense spaces, or some parts of the forest are more closed. And I also feel that in an ecosystem, everything is interconnected. And this is also how I feel about these cards. At some point, working with playing cards, I developed this performance where I select some of the playing cards and I use them as a methodology for communication, basically. So I developed this performance where I play a relational game with somebody else. It's super simple. The person picks up a card and I make them a question. I pick up a card and they make me a question. And from this memory that we share, we draw a new card. And I think this work is really important because it creates interaction in the exhibition, and because it takes the work to a different level, because now it generates new cards. So it's not only about the cards I found on the street, but also how the memory that people are sharing can become new cards. So it all goes back to the idea of the memory of the forest as the mind, as an ecosystem. What's up with the big mango? Everybody wants to know what's up with the big mango. I start making a research of how we use playing cards in our daily life, in normal sentence. And then I wanted to somehow translate this sentence to sculptures. There's a sentence called "There's still a card on my sleeve," upon my sleeve, and it basically means that there's still one less trick, or there's still a surprise, or there's still hope. But the thing is that in Brazilian Portuguese, sleeve and mango have the same word, which is manga. And yeah, I wanted to make this joke of having a card in a literal mango. Yeah, I just thought it would be funny, to be honest. The Joker was, I think, the second animation I did during my studies in Weissensee. It's about having a summer date with someone that is very playful. I really like this work, and what I wanted to translate with this work is this lightness that a date can have. Yeah, basically, the date with the Joker is a narration of what for me is a perfect summer date.
Nós nadamos juntos. Que nice. Nós fizemos desenhos no meu caderno de processo.
Many people ask me that during the exhibition, why I chose to use the Joker as this character for my movie. I think it's because when you like someone, this person kind of becomes a Joker in the deck of your life. You know, like this person has a special meaning, and I think the Joker represents this and its history. It was a card invented to represent every other cards in the deck. So that's why I chose this character, because it's I feel like the Joker is somebody who outstands the others, and this is how I feel when I like someone. The other video work, it's a performance and an intervention I did in Gupi as well during autumn this year. I decided to do this video in this specific space because I wanted to create just a spiral of cards. And this comes because I feel that the movement I do with these cards in my life, it's something very spiral. It's like a growing spiral, it's like something circular that makes me like go around the city and go around the world in a spiral somehow. And I think my work is very much related to the streets and to the public spaces. So I also wanted to have this in the exhibition. It was important for me that the same thing I experienced outside, to be able to bring it inside. And every playing card resembles a tarot card. So for me, when I'm walking on the streets and I have like an anxiety or I have a question, and then I find a card, it's almost like the street is playing an oracle to me. Like, yeah, the street is an oracle. So I was thinking, how can I translate, how can I make people find cards inside of the exhibition, but not the same cards I found on the street? So the idea was to have a work where people could also play with their destiny somehow, that they would like make a question and then randomly receive a card. And thanks to my curator, we end up with this idea of renting a bubblegum machine and using it so people could get answers from it with miniatures of playing cards. For me, it was very important to bring the gummy bear work inside of the exhibition. It was about that dream I had with gummy bears and how this symbol kept repeating in my daily life until the moment I found this book, which is the Gummy Bear Oracle. For me, it was very funny because it was the first time the same phenomenon I was experiencing with the cards was manifesting with a different symbol. And I think it's really funny because a bear is the symbol of Berlin. Yeah, it felt like this could only happen in Germany, that there is an oracle of gummy bears. And I'm really happy I found this book and I could bring it to the exhibition. Also, I think it's really important for me that people would come to the exhibition, and they would find answers by themselves. So this wouldn't be possible without my curator, Salome Schröder. Yeah, I feel there was so much collaboration and so much love involved in the process of building this exhibition. And I think this for me is like the most beautiful part of this work, of how it connects me to other people and how much magic it brings to my life. And I hope people also could experience this in this exhibition somehow.